Hello, this is the introduction into the second module, the first session of IncluMusic Curriculum Partnership Project, which is entitled Special Musical Methodologies and Assistive Technologies Workshops. The goal of which being that of equipping music students not only with the capacity to apply, but also to promote inclusive practices as musicians, as future educators, and as colleagues through a comprehensive understanding of specialized music education methodologies and assistive technologies. The learning objectives for this module aim to provide readers with fundamental information about the theories, approaches, and methodologies of these four main educators, as well as fundamental information into the concepts of AAC tools and assistive technologies. By the end of the session, you should be able to identify the fundamental musical skills that musicians use, learn the basic concepts of the four approaches and methods, reflect on how these approaches and methods can enable teachers and students in becoming more successful, understand how these fundamental concepts can help students, teachers, and all to overcome barriers and be more successful, and describe the significance of alternative augmentative communication tools in the context of music education. Specialized music education methodologies entail the acquisition of certain fundamental musical skills, such as performing in the context of singing. Students should be able to sing a varied repertoire of songs on their own, as well as with others, displaying confidence, expression, and an awareness of musical elements such as pitch, rhythm, dynamics, etc. Performing in the context of playing instruments. Students should be able to play increasingly complex musical pieces with a wide range of instruments, demonstrating style, expression, and an understanding of melodic direction, tempo, etc. Listening. Students should be able to listen to music and identify and describe various musical elements such as rhythmic patterns, melodic patterns, and forms based on these musical auditions. And also creating and composing. To be able to use their imagination and musical experience to organize sounds into various forms, including verse, chorus binary, etc. Creating compositions that communicate specific ideas and moods and use traditional notation to record their compositions. Acquiring these fundamental skills can be achieved through various forms of musical education, such as vocal singing, instrumental playing, active musical audiation, musical games, rhythmic and melodic exercises, and eurythmics. Important music educators that will be addressed in this module to elaborate the development of fundamental musical skills and whose methods and approaches provide a solid foundation for music learning and teaching are, first of all, Karl Orff, who was a German composer, developed Orff Schulwerk, who was pivotal in the adaptation of various percussion instruments to be used by children. The fundamental principles in Orff's music education system are that of the individual being at the center, or a student-centered approach, learning through social interaction, everyone learns from everyone, active participation, not only as a listener, but being actively involved in all of the music-making process. His system is all age encompassing, starting from primary school, for which this method was developed. Orff's education system can be implemented also in secondary school and further on, as well as in therapy and music activities with seniors. It can be transferred to other cultures as well. This pedagogical concept was disseminated all over the world with the prerequisite that songs, dances, and texts have to be taken from the respective cultural area. The second music educator is Emile Jacques Dalcroze, who is a Swiss composer and pedagogue, developed eurythmics, which emphasizes the importance of experiencing music together with movement and improvisation. His methodology is based on rhythm, structure, and musical expression through movement. It is an interactive and interdisciplinary approach that allows a holistic development of the human personality. Rhythm and movement can be combined in order to facilitate the complexity of learning music. It revises the way harmony is traditionally taught, and it provides a syncretism between poetry, music, and dance. The fundamental principles of his method and pedagogy are divided into three main categories: eurythmics, engaging the body in rhythmic movement and active listening; solfege, to develop internal melody and harmony; and improvisation, which brings out the creative spirit with a voice, which is an instrument, as well as the body. In a Dalcroze class, the instructor combines these elements through rhythm, games, songs, gestures, and movements. The third music educator is Zoltán Kodály, who, as a Hungarian composer and ethnomusicologist, was very invested in the idea of the musical mother tongue, and so sought to develop a musical education system in which the folk music of one's own culture and the cultural context primarily shape the learning process. Known as the Kodály method, it is based on the belief that music education should start at a very young age, or as young as possible, and that music education should be accessible to all children, regardless of their musical background or socioeconomic status. His method emphasizes primarily singing and using the voice in all music-making activities, but also all of the other forms of music activities. The fundamental principles of Kodály's approach are, as I said, singing, folk music, solfege, hand signs, which are used in conjunction with solfege, and they are symbols which visually represent the pitches of a musical scale. Rhythmic training. Students learn rhythmic patterns through chanting, clapping, and movement activities, and he advocated for the use of specific rhythmic syllables. Sequential and systemic approach, meaning that concepts are introduced gradually and built upon over time. It emphasizes the importance of mastery learning, ensuring that students have a solid foundation before they can move on to more complex musical concepts. Active music making, integration of music and movement, group and individual instruction, and, as stated before, cultural context. This method recognizes the cultural context of music education and seeks to incorporate elements of the local traditions. He encourages educators to adapt his method to suit the cultural background and needs of their students. The fourth music educator is Edwin Gordon, who was an American professor of music and professional bass player. He developed his music learning theory, or MLT, to explain and describe a systemic way of how music should be taught to infants and children. His method aims to develop children's rhythmic and tonal audiation. He authored 6 unique tests which focus on measuring the musical aptitude of children from various ages. The fundamental principles of his method are audiation, which is a term coined by him, and it refers to the hearing and comprehension of music, even when music is not orally present. Musical readiness and aptitude. He believed that, like any other human traits, musical aptitude is evenly distributed amongst people. Sequential approach. He wrote a well-designed sequential approach for skill development in music. Concepts are introduced gradually and expanded on over time. Emphasis on tonality and rhythm. The emphasis on developing tonal and rhythmic accuracy, while also focusing on harmony, form, and expression. The idea of similarity versus contrast, which emphasizes the importance of active listening, imitation, through chanting, singing, and movement. And context. In this case, the context between tonality and rhythm, before singing a song or introducing new repertoire. Alongside the acquisition of fundamental musical skills to increase inclusion and diversity, it is necessary in an age of increasing technological innovations to address the principles and significance of adaptive assistive technologies and AAC tools in the context of music education. The emergence of these technologies and tools ranging from specialized software to tailored instruments, has brought in a new era of inclusivity and accessibility, and it caters to the diverse and specific needs and abilities of learners. While traditional music education methods, as the one stated above, have been instrumental in fostering creativity and cognitive development, they often still present challenges for individuals with special needs or unique learning styles. These adaptive technologies address these challenges by providing personalized solutions that adapt to the individual's needs, thereby enhancing their musical journey. First and foremost, these technologies and their application allow for inclusive and accessible design, enabling a diverse range of learners the access to equal but also to equitable music education. Individualized approach, tailoring the educational experience to meet the unique needs of each student, providing personalized support and accommodation within the collective. Integration with music pedagogy. It is an important part in inclusivity and accessibility that these technologies are implemented within the music pedagogy, ensuring that adaptive technologies and communication tools are a seamless part. Preparation for professional setting. Equipping each student with a varied technological skill set required to succeed in diverse musical settings as well as professional environments. Multimodal communication integration, which means that various communication modes are utilized, including visual, auditory, and tactile, to enhance understanding and expression. Community support and engagement. These tools allow and foster communication and interaction of partners, such as teachers, peers, and family members, to effectively support and engage with AAC and adaptive assistive technology users. Finally, at the end of this presentation, there are a few questions which I would ask that you take the time to consider and find the answers for. 1. Which is the common musical instrument that is recommended by Orff, Dalcroze, Kodai, and Gordon? 2. When should music instruction begin according to Orff, Dalcroze, Kodai, and Gordon? 3. What forms and activities should music education contain? 4. Match the concept on the left column with the music educator on the right column. 5. Which of the following does not apply as a principle of the alternative augmentative communication? And finally, music is the great uniter, an incredible force, something that people who differ on everything and anything else can have in common. By Sarah Dresden. Thank you.